Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. If you're new around here, this is our daily update video where we talk about what happened here in our little VW restoration shop. And so why don't we go ahead and get started? Volkswagen had so many different shades of blue, and they're all just amazing in their own way. I don't know if Volkswagen ever had a blue that was ugly. They were just all nuts. And trying to think of a thumbnail for today, and we just kind of been working on the same things we've been working on, which again I'll talk about in a minute. And it just occurred to me to get a picture of these two next to each other. Not sure how much longer these two will both be in the shop. This one in particular is probably leaving like within the next week or so. So just thought I would take the opportunity while they were parked next to each other to snap that off. And hey, Big Blue is in the picture too, which is also blue, of course. So why don't we go ahead and talk about what happened today? So we'll start here with what Rafa did. Well, actually we'll start here with what Rafa did. So these buses did not come with a rear view mirror. And so Rafa dug into his stash, and which, by the way, is where this mirror came from, and found this one. I don't know. I guess it's just an accessory mirror. I don't know what it would have even been off originally, but it just looks right in here. It's very 50s looking to me. And so he went and restored it and painted it with some very appropriate looking paint as far as the color, and it's got a little texture on it, which is also cool. The mirror itself, the reflective part, is also cool because it is tinted a bit, and probably hard to tell here in the dark, but yeah, it is tinted, which just kind of adds to its coolness in my opinion. But yeah, I've driven this bus around a decent amount, and I keep finding myself looking here, right-hand drive, so sitting here looking that way and seeing that there's not a rear view mirror, and now there is. That having been said, let me pull more into the driver position here. That having been said, guys, with the extremely long arm that's on the outside rear view mirror right there, you can kind of see, kind of behind the bus. I mean, you look like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, yeah, like right there, if there was a car right behind you, even if they were following pretty close, you'd be able to see them in that mirror. That having been said, it's obviously not the same as having a proper rear view mirror on the inside of the car. So anyway, so that went in today. And also Rafa finished up some details on the jack that I think I showed you guys yesterday. And I don't know where it is, so I will be sure to show you guys that at some point. However, Santiago, our upholstery magician, made, I'm just looking to see if it's in here. Don't know what they did with it. It might already be under the front seat, which is where it would be stowed. Yeah, I don't see it. Sorry, guys. Wild goose chase there. Anyway, I will show it to you at some point, because it looks amazing, and Santiago, of course, made a very nice storage bag for it. So anyway, that was the very first part of Rafa's day, and then he turned his attention to this guy here, this red 66 Deluxe sunroof bus. And yeah, so he, if you saw yesterday's episode, you know that the kingpin assemblies were badly wore on here, like terrible. It had a ton of slop in it, which again probably, well, most certainly explains why the tire on this side was wore so unevenly. Anyway, so Rafa started by removing those from the car, pulling the backing plates, etc. off them. And then later in the morning, I ran those over to Roth Vintage. He will replace them. He has the tooling as far as a press and reamer and stuff like that. We're not really set up to do that kind of pressing and reaming and stuff. He is, so we have him do that. Anyway, so drop those off with him, and then I need to buy the rebuild kits for those and get those over to him. But anyway, so Rafa went in and pulled that, and then he turned his attention to the shifting of this bus, which was another thing that was fairly horrendous, guys. And it seems, well, a couple things. So one is these have two shift rods So there's one that goes from the transmission through basically a tube underneath the body, and it goes up to about here or so, and it comes out of that tube, and then it connects to a shorter shift rod via a coupling that goes up to the actual shifter itself. And then on these buses, the shift bushing is actually in front of that. So the front shift rod has like a little kind of like a dowel sticking out of it towards the front. So past the little cylinder where the shifter goes down into, there's a little projection in front of that, and then there's a smaller bushing that goes there that supports it. Anyway, long story short, Brian Washburn over at Washburn's Metal also makes those, so you later bus guys aren't left out. So picked up one of those, and then it seemed like so again, going back to the long shift rod that runs through the tube there, it's supposed to have some kind of bushings on it. It's kind of floating inside that tube, but it also does have some bushings that kind of look like a 4-leaf flower that's supposed to kind of support it, but at the same time give it some movement. Those seem like they were just gone or completely disintegrated or I don't know what. And so Rafa went ahead and added those back in. So that's supported properly now. And then the coupler that the rear and the front shift rods were tied together with, something was wrong with it. It was like broken or something. So we put a new one of those on. And then again, the new Delrin shift rod or shift bushing up front. So yeah, this thing should have amazing shifting. Actually, let me back up though. So also wrong with the shifter on this one. Guys, we keep finding stuff. So at the bottom of the shifter here, this round part here, which is what goes against the shift gate that controls your first, second, third, fourth, and then reverse if you push the shifter down. This thing was like totally wore out and jacked up beyond recognition. So we basically had Renee build it back up with weld and then grind it back into the right shape. So yeah, this thing had a lot working against it on shifting. It's kind of amazing that it was even drivable. You basically just had to fill your way into all the gears, and even then it was kind of a struggle. But yeah, this guy is not going to recognize this bus from a shifting perspective for sure when he gets it back. It should be shifting like butter now. And it's going to have safe brakes and not have floppy wore out suspension components and have a bitchin' new headliner and have Safari windows. And let's see, what else did we do to this thing? And fixed a bunch of paint and body issues. So yeah, guys should be very happy. This bus is going to be much, much better than when he brought it in. So that's what we aim for. Got to leave better than they came in. That's the basic goal here. Anyway, guys, so yeah, that was the rest of Rafa's day on this one. So how about me? What did I do? I spent a little bit of time this morning ordering some parts, and not always as easy as it sounds like it would be. However, I did order some adjustable spring plates and inner and outer bushings for this guy. So those will be on their way from a couple different sources. And let's see, for Big Blue here, for its motor, I found somebody that has the adapters that go from the heater boxes up to the breastplate. So usually I get those from CIP1, the guys in Canada. They're made by CSP, and CIP is out of them. So I ordered them from another place in Canada. Can't remember their name, but this turned into this whole like fiasco as far as like actually placing the order, because their website is set up that I couldn't place an order where they ship to the United States. These insane tariffs that are on have totally effed up lots of things. And so yeah, I had to kind of manually have them calculate the shipping cost, and then their website still wasn't allowing me to order it and have it shipped here, so I had to kind of call back and manually place the order. Anyway, long story short, those are on order, because that's just another piece to the puzzle here as far as getting all the heating and air conditioning and stuff going together on this. Let's see. Felt like there was something else I ordered today too. Oh, I know what else I ordered for the white 66 Beetle, which will soon be a Java Green 66 Beetle. I ordered all 4 disc brakes for it, so front and rear disc brakes. One of the few things the owner requested that we modify. The rest of the car is going to be pretty much 100% stock, with the exception of 4-wheel disc brakes. So order those today too. So yeah, sometime this morning, kind of chasing parts around on the internet and phone calls and stuff like that. And then turned my attention back to the motor for this one a little bit. And let me show you guys what I did. I went ahead and pulled the distributor apart and cleaned and sandblasted it and put a clear coat on it to protect it. Likewise with the vacuum pot, which I tested and seems to work well, so that's all ready to go. Then I also pulled apart and cleaned, or at least pulled the cover off it and cleaned the voltage regulator. So the top of this will go out for zinc plating, even though it kind of looks like it's zinc plated now. It's just basically wire wheeled and then triple aught steel wool cleaned. So that's that. And then yeah, I got some other parts for this that are also ready for zinc plating. So I'm gonna have a pretty big pile of zinc plating for the Green Ghia for its motor that probably go ahead and send that out pretty soon, and then start putting all this stuff back together. So that was also a little while. I turned my attention then to back to this guy. So more tin fitting. So I had fit all the tin that I had previously, and today a few more pieces came in, and of course they did not fit well, because aftermarket tin almost never fits well, and so no exception here. So the pieces that I got in today are these little deflectors. You can see this piece here that kind of hangs down below the cylinder tin. So this piece here, and then its brother, so to speak, over here. And then under the motor, these sort of sled-shaped pieces right here that kind of box in the underside of the cylinders. So those on both sides. And so, yeah, none of this stuff fit very well at all, guys. It's always like a wrestling match and a matter of doing a lot of trimming and so on. But in the end, I was victorious. They all fit really nice now. Let me swing this up for a second here so you can see better. So yeah, so here's these pieces. So you can see actually how bad aftermarket tin and stuff is, that the sort of straps on the heater boxes that are supposed to go straight and mount to these, they were off by at least, I don't know, what's that, guys, half an inch, 3/8 of an inch, the front one. And so I had to put this very weird bend in it to kind of jog it over this way so that it would line up with the hole. And I had to do some kind of wonkiness like that on the rear one on that side of the motor. So yeah, normally the stuff should just line up, and with original German tin it does usually line up pretty nice, but aftermarket, not so much, guys. So yeah, and then of course I also had to do a decent amount of trimming of those back here around the exhaust. Now granted, this is an aftermarket exhaust with huge thick flanges on it. So these are aftermarket 1 5/8" diameter heater boxes, and they have very huge thick flanges on them. So that was probably contributing to the fitment here. But yeah, this lower piece of tin here, I had to trim it a lot around here and over here to get it to fit. And then likewise on this side, you can probably see where it's been trimmed all up in here, and it's clearing now. So yeah, it's just lots of test fitting, and then sort of marking with silver Sharpie works good on these black tin pieces, and then trim it, test fit it again, and inevitably you got to take a little bit more off, and at least in one area or something, and back and forth until it all fits. And then, of course, once I got those on, I had not previously put this on with those on. So then I had to go and actually trim it a little bit here to clear this bolt once that was in. And likewise, the breastplate here, I had to stretch a hole a little bit because once those two lower pieces there were bolted on, they sort of shift things around as far as the cylinder tins. And so, of course, things weren't lining up as well kind of in here for the rear engine tin, the breastplate. So I had to stretch some holes and trim some things a little bit. But at least for now, guys, with everything I have, it all fits. It all fits pretty beautifully. And so now it's just got to kind of sit and wait like this until I have the air conditioner compressor and brackets and stuff like that. Because at that point, I'm probably going to have to do more trimming of the tin and stuff, because I think the compressor, the bracket for the compressor, I think may pick up like this top exhaust stud here, some stuff like that. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to go and trim the tin more as I start fitting the air conditioner unit once it comes in. But for now, at least the tin fits itself. So that is no small challenge or no small accomplishment here with this aftermarket tin. But anyway, guys, so only other thing happening today is a little bit more on this guy with our upholstery magician here. So he pretty much finished that side. The carpet over here wasn't on the other day, and he finished this side too. Here's the little lever that controls. You can kind of see it moving there. Controls the these little heat outlets there. So those are all in. This customer does want heat, so we are installing all that stuff back in, which is kind of painful. Got to be honest with you guys. The Ghias are just super complicated compared to Beetles. All these different various valves and flaps and stuff in the ventilation system. So there's just a lot more going on these cars. So yeah, some stuff going on there with this one as well. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. So appreciate you guys all watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.